Welcome to the Money Mentors Podcast.
Well, thank you for joining us, but you might find this weekend that your kids are a little lazy getting up at the regular time or getting around, and I think it's because they're back in school. They're not catching up with their sleep because they're used to staying up later and not getting up so early. So if they're kind of dragging a little bit this weekend, now you know why. But importantly, make sure you watch out for those big yellow buses, which for 10 years I actually drove for a while.
You did? Oh,
I did. I
didn't know
picked up kids and dropped them off, and those that weren't nice, I ran over.
He's just kidding, everyone. He's just, I think he's kidding anyway.
Only a couple, not that many.
I've always thought that could be a fun job, but to your point, I don't know. Sometimes the kids could be a little rowdy.
I got to admit that I did it for 10 years, and I was, quote, a sub driver.
Okay.
I was supposed to only drive once in a while, and the second day that I was available, it became a permanent position for 10 years. And
wow.
But I did enjoy it. It was one of those times that I drove some of those excursions, too, and some with my kids and some without. But it was, for the most part, I rarely had any issue with the kids. Rarely. So it was good.
I always think that's one of those maybe thankless positions, too, where, we don't thank those people enough for getting our kids to and from safely every day. I mean, that's a big job.
We take it for granted as a kid and parents, but I got to say, for me, when I ended up later in life getting a motorhome and driving that 43-foot motorhome around, it made it very comfortable for me to do that because I drove that big yellow bus.
That's exactly right. Yeah, used to driving the big things around, too. So thank you to our school bus drivers out there. And yes, watch out for them this time of year. It's just a reminder, too. This year is just flying by. The kids back in school. Perhaps you, too, are kind of back into your routine after maybe some summer travel and that kind of thing. We tend to see people get more serious, too, this time of year about your financial life because you realize you have some important deadlines coming up, some priorities that you want to get to before year's end. And so a reminder today here on Money Mentors, if you'd like to talk to the team at Matson Financial Services about some of those priorities, get started on that year-end checklist with us, you can always reach out. Simply schedule a chat with our team. You can always do that online at matsonfinancial.com. Simply click that Schedule Now button. It'll pull up that calendar and give you some available times with our team. You can match that up with an available time on your calendar, and really simple to just get started on some of those to-dos. Again, that's matsonfinancial.com and click on Schedule Now. And each week here with your Money Mentors, we like to dive into what's happening in the headlines, the things that impact you, your financial life, your retirement. And here's an interesting one here this weekend. They're calling it Veggie-flation. Get this, wholesale prices for vegetables spiked nearly 39% last month. We might get lucky because of Michigan's farmers here on those prices, but no doubt inflation has been a real concern, not just with veggies and not just this year, but for quite a few years now. So how do you help the retirees that you work with adjust for this? Because after all, we do still have to eat, right?
Yes, you got to do that. Yeah. Even if you're on a diet, you're still eating something.
Exactly.
You got to have that nourishment. Yeah, it's one of those things that we start out with our financial plan with our clients right up front with inflation. We show inflation when we do what we call the pay report. In other words, income over time. We're going to show the income adjusted for inflation. And sometimes it's nice when we have deflation. And of course, you have a little more money. And of course, when inflation happens, then we have the additional funds to make those raises or give them a pay raise. One of the things we love to do is that when somebody's taking money out of their accounts, and now they're going to turn on Social Security. Instead of, people kind of look at it and say, well, okay, I'm going to get $1,000 a month for Social Security. Let's go ahead and just cut back by $1,000 a month I'm taking from my retirement accounts. And we say, no, let's do this a little different. Well, what do you mean? Let's give you a pay raise. So instead of taking 100% away from you of what you're getting in Social Security, let's go ahead and just give you a 50% deduction. So now you have a pay raise. Oh. I says, now what are you going to use it for? Oh, well, we're going to travel. Nobody's ever said to me, no, Gary, keep that money. Don't give it to me.
Yeah.
They always find a way to use it for their retirement, gifting, or other things they do. But again, it's got to be part of your plan anyways to have inflation. And so that happens. Now, as we put together a plan and we go forward, eventually we like to be in a position that we're taking money from growth. And so we have that continual growth. Sometimes we have 5-6 years of growth set up that the people are taking income, and they're looking at it and going like, well, what else can we do? Well, what's on your bucket list? Let's start talking about gifting or talking about that second home or the big trip you wanted to do. We've got the funds. Let's start planning it out.
I love that you help give people extra. And again, start with what they were working with too, when they were working, starting not just with, 70% of their paycheck, 80% of their paycheck, understanding that, hey, the cost of living is the cost of living, and you're not necessarily going to want to cut back in retirement too. And it's interesting too, as was diving into some of the headlines on inflation, despite all the talk recently, there are some areas where baby boomers are still just fine spending more these days. Kiplinger published a study recently that shows 25% of baby boomers report spending more than $6,000 on average when they're traveling. And that is much more than younger generations spend on their trips. But they point out this generation tends to have more time to travel, of course, in retirement, more disposable income, and they do want more perks, too. After all, they earned it. So is that what you find with your clients, that they're willing to spend more for the right experiences?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, when somebody says that they want to travel, we not only say, okay, where, but we want to talk about defining what they want out of that trip. The worst thing you can do is think you're going to go on a cruise and you're going to have all this luxurious stuff around you, and then you're going to go on these trips and everything, and you find out you're in a canoe. Not a good thing.
Right.
Unless you plan on being in a canoe with a backpack. So again, focusing on comfort and convenience, and again, having more time so they're going to do more things. We had clients just last week came to us and said, hey, we're going to a destination wedding next year. It's over in Ireland, and we want to extend the trip before and after because we want to see some of Europe. We're already there. Exactly. Very expensive. Fly in time. So let's make the most of that, because they said they're not going to be in coach. We're going to move them up. And we have the funds. And they've been using their credit card, getting those sky miles, right? So we're going to move up a little bit, and then we're going to extend that. So then they can see and do the things they want to, and we define that. For myself, Nancy and I, we love seeing architect, of course, food, good food, wine, and other things that are there, what we call captive items that, how do people live in that area? What's going on with families? Those things we like to get into. And so we go to places kind of off the beaten path, but it's something we really enjoy. So that's what we talk to our clients about, is that, what do you want out of this? Do you want to see the big things, or do you want to get off the beaten path a little bit, see the big things, but also get into more of that? Fortunately for us, we were in a position that we went to Rome a couple different times, and the last time we went, we actually had a United States fighter pilot, retired, that actually taught Roman history. So when we went out and saw the city, we saw it totally different back in the time when there was the Colosseum and what they ate and how they did it. He brought it to life for us, and that was so much more than just seeing this relic. And so it was very, very cool. So once again, defining what you want out of that travel and making sure you get it, you feel like you're spending your money well.
Yeah. And you actually work with preferred providers, travel agents, who can help if people need some ideas or they want that VIP experience. A lot of times they can point them in the right direction and help with some of those perks.
Yeah, let's face it, there's times when you want to be with a group for safety and other things you might want to do. And there's other times you might really want to be on your own way, seeing things from your perspective that maybe somebody doesn't want to do. Nancy and I had the privilege of going to Africa, and nobody wanted to see hyenas but me. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, I got up to go out and see the hyenas eating at night. Again, the trip was very valuable to me to see that, but I wanted to see that. So once again, I got what I wanted to out of the trip. That's what we want for our clients. So we have travel agents that we work with to define your dream vacation and making sure you're getting fulfillment of that. And that includes, sometimes we have just family members, taking 10, 12, 15. One family took 25 members of their family on vacation.
Wow.
And making sure that all coordinates for people all around the United States and the world, and making sure everybody gets to the destination on time.
Want weekly lessons from your money mentors? Yes. Hit the subscribe button now and listen every weekend on Wood Radio.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Fee-based financial planning and investment services are offered by Matson Financial Services, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Lakeview Financial Group, LLC, Matson Financial Services, LLC, and Lakeview Financial Group are affiliated. To find out if Matson Financial Services is licensed in your state, please call 800-536-8907.